I want to ride my bicycle.
Rocky Mountain Live with GP3 on Khen 106.9, giving it to you every week, Friday 5 to 7. This is your groovy Jamband hour where we take a lot of good attention to how your mind, body, spirit complex is moving. How is your space star seeds? Are you experiencing the shift in your geographic location on planet Mama? Dancing a storm out there for the good stuff coming ahead. Took a lot to transmute an old, dead world. Heading into the new one, we've got great things ahead where we make choice points on our own now. We're not moved around by an engine that, fast, sadly, comes into insecurity. And, all that's coming out now. Scrambling, looking for action, trying to find a way. Well, they didn't get the memo. The new Earth planet is to drop in that clean, keen awareness, which is just settle down, get in the groove, rock back and forth and listen. Wait for it, and bam, lightning in a bottle, baby. That's all the good stuff that brings the starseed into the next realm without being taken advantage of by the system ahead. Yes, indeed. So we give you the music. This is the good stuff. We've got artists and bands in this family getting out on the road right now, bringing in great music. GP3 broadcasting this week from North Carolina. GP3 out on the road every year, bringing in the sounds to meet the vibration of the people with the actuality of the now times. So there's no time dilation in your now moment. Bringing you up to date with the latest that's happening. This is going to be some good stuff for the spirit this week. Just to remind that you are you, and if that's not okay, sit down with it and just clear out the record. That's all you have to do in this life as you go forward into the brand new ether of the times. 2025 on KGN. Thank you for the underwriting this year as we went into a great support system, giving Khen the opportunity and us in broadcast to bring in the best sounds for your listening pleasure. You're with GP3 on Rocky Mountain Live, Khen 106.9. And simple love, only wrong on a rainy song. All the rain it calls, howling up. Season come, all the reeds you run. Such a
here's the secret. There are two things that you have to do. One of them is to not stop, and the other one is to keep going. But when you get there, you'll find out that it's still tough.
of this mountain, you know where I wanna go. Straight down the Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico, to Lake Charles, Louisiana, that little Bessie girl I once knew. She told me just to come on by if there's anything she could do. She said, now up on Cripple Creek, she says me if I spring a leak. She defends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunker's dream if I ever did see one. Well, good luck had just stung me, to the racetrack I did go. She bet on a horse to win, and I bet on another to show. The odds were in my favor, Lord, I had to 5-1. And sure enough, when they come around the track, well, look over there, that nag had won. Up on Cripple Creek, she says me if I sprang a leak. She defends me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a drunker's dream if I ever did see one. Well, I took all of my winnings and I gave my little half. She tore it up and threw it in my face just for a laugh. Now there's one thing in the whole wide world that I really would like to see. That's when that little love of mine, she dips a donut in my tea. Up on Cripple Creek, she says me if I spring a leak. She bears me, I don't have to speak. She defends me, a trucker's dream, if I ever did see one. Hey, Anders, how you feeling?
strongest sense of gravity. Stop your fight, have you next to me?
said, you're careless now for way too long, and you better up admit it when you know that you're wrong. Didn't you know this? Or were you listening out of time? You get stuck on things that you can't subtract. If it were up to me, then you can take it all back. Trying to be sincere. I got a little more now than I had before. If you take it all back, I'd still have more. No, reluctantly, I know I should shut my mouth. You should always pay attention to the things that you say, regardless of the meaning which will always remain. Are you convinced yet, or are we just wasting air? Yeah, I'm way too tired to sit and reminisce about the things that I lost that I don't miss. Back to the moments and digging deep enough this time. You forget about your future at your past expense. You know life is only living in the present.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Bob James.
Live with GP3 GP3 on Khen 106.9, bringing in the sounds across the timelines and working with artists and producers out there that are involved at Frontlines activity in the industry. This week we're going to get into a little bit. I've got a guest that heralds from the 80s in his own making, Mr. Mike Rocchio.
How's it going?
Let's talk about the music. Let's go back to Mean Street a little bit. Some of the artists that you've had a chance to kind of engage with. I know that I wrote a little bit for Mean Street back in the day, and I got a chance to, through that, interview Glenn Danzig, Dark Angel, and a couple other local Huntington Beach bands from what I remember.
I think me and you interviewed Waddy from Exploited too.
Yep.
In Tijuana.
Yeah.
at Iguanas in Tijuana. Because we were in the Inland Empire, the Riverside music scene in Southern California, east of LA and sort of east of Orange County, inland from Orange County, we started to, there was a raging, burgeoning scene at that moment in Southern California that we had recognized. A lot of it was ska, punk,
right,
reggae, some hip hop, that sort of stuff, and then that led to and then once we incorporated Orange County into our coverage from Mean Street, realized that Orange County was much more like the Inland Empire than it was like Los Angeles' Sunset Strip scene.
Indeed.
So we felt a good comp there, which then meant that the transition of bringing the magazine into the Orange County market made a ton of sense, because we were sort of all musically like-minded. And then that led us to, knowing the Offspring and Korn, because Korn, they were in a band called LAPD before they were Korn, and they had played our local clubs, and we had interviewed them in our magazine early on. So we had these opportunities to meet these people when they were still practicing, and
right.
I had the opportunity going down to Korn's rehearsal studio before their demo tape was even out.
Was that the one in Huntington Beach?
Yeah, it's called Underground Chicken Sound.
I went there for their debut release party.
Yeah, I remember, and now that you bring it up, I remember us being in attendance. Yeah, that was fun.
That was it. We were there together. That's right.
And that was so much fun because you'd never heard anything like that at the time. When we first heard Korn, you just never heard anything like that. And
right.
And at the same time, remember, No Doubt is still prolific.
Right.
Offspring, you have Face to Face, and then sort of the resurgence of punk rock, with Green Day and Nirvana, and that whole changing of guard from the Sunset Strip music scene over to this more punk, grunge, post-punk era.
Right.
And ska was raging then too, and Sublime too. I remember getting a Sublime's CD in the mail, and they had mailed it to me directly, and I'd never heard of the band. I'd never heard of any of this music, and you put that first record on, 40 Ounce to Freedom, and you're just like, wow, what is this stuff? And it really is an amalgamation of those cultures, punk, ska, reggae, rock, all mixed into one sound. And
I heard
a little bit of Danger.
I heard quite a few new drops at that at Mean Street. I think I remember coming in one night, and you're like, "Oh, dude, you've got to listen to this," and you put in Tool.
Okay, there you go. Oh yeah, very early Tool.
Yep.
And in fact, it turns out I still own the Tool demo that I got then, that I just saw recently. that I just saw recently sold on eBay for like $1,200.
Oh, nice investment.
I know. I was like, oh wow, okay, that's good to know. My cassette is worth a lot of money. But yeah, the early days of Tool, we were on that. We definitely heard a lot from the LA music scene that was not part of the Sunset music scene.
Right.
So LA at the same time, the zeitgeist of our culture at that moment wasn't limited to just Orange County. The LA music scene was also taking on, and that's with the popularity of the Chili Peppers and Jane's Addiction and these alternative music scenes, and then for that matter, Rage Against the Machine. I remember one of our writers at Mean Street had turned me on. He goes, "Mike, dude, you got to check out this band. Like, this band is playing LA clubs and they're really interesting hip hop rock sound." And then eventually we went down and saw them perform. I think the first time I saw Rage was at the Whiskey A Go Go, not even to a sold out audience. And just witnessing that in a small club for the first time, especially Tom Morello, you were just like, wow. Right. And so yeah, there were so many firsts in those 90s. Weezer and so many genres of music that we were turned on to. And on Primus, I can remember when Primus came to town and they played Bogarts in Long Beach. And this was 6 months before Frizzle Fry came out. And Carlos, our photographer, had went with our editor. They both went down to the show, and Carlos came back going, "You've never seen anyone play bass like this." And it was hard to it was really hard to comprehend until we got the first copies of Frizzle Fry, and then I was like, oh wow. And then of course we went and saw Primus in those early days. And there was so much great new music.
Sailing on the Sea of Cheese.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a great place to discover. It was a great place to discover a bunch of new music, and even music to this day is still very underground or very unknown, because there was such a proliferation of underground music at the time that never really kind of came to be, Right. So there's lots of these 90s bands that put out good records but don't exist anymore or something,
Well, and then we have a few that came out of our group, quite a few artists. I mean, with members of Fishbone rallying around with Rose Thorns, Lisa.
Lisa Kekala, who was in the Rose Thorns, and then they eventually became the Bell Rays. And then and the Bell Rays are still touring to this day. And she's highly successful artist. She got nominated for Grammys. She sang with many artists over the time. Wayne Kramer once claimed that she was an honorary member of the MC5.
Oh, nice.
He just loved her to death. And then of course the Basement Jacks from the UK, an electronic duo, put her as the lead vocalist on their biggest song that they've ever had.
Oh wow!
When
they moved to the UK for a while, wasn't she in Paris or? She was.
They didn't live there, but they stayed there because they've always had more success. They've always had more success in the European market.
Huh.
So yeah, the French huge for Lisa and the Bell Rays and so forth, and so they found a lot of success in those markets, and you go where the economy's at. So they try to tour Europe, a little bit of Europe every year, because it definitely helps pay the bills.
Right.
And
I caught their.
you
I started catching their podcast, and sent a note out to, I think, maybe get an interview with her at one point. But yeah, she looked great. They look great. They look like they're rocking.
Oh, they're great. You know, and then they've gotten some more notoriety, or more respect from the elders recently, where they last year in 2024 they did a whole U.S. tour opening for Social Distortion, which was great. And in fact, I went to New Year's Eve in Riverside. I saw the Bell Rays opening for Social Distortion on New Year's Eve this year, which was amazing. And then they just toured. They were just touring with the Damned, so they did half of the U.S. tour with opening for the Damned.
Wow.
So they still get a lot of love. They're still a very solid, super solid live act. You know, and so they get a lot of love still to this day.
Storm cloud coming straight to you. You can't run for shelter. There's nothing you can do. I'm a new sensation. I'm on fire. Overthrow your system's gonna jump your wires. I'm black lightning. I'm a sinner, baby. I'm all the power you need. Now I'm out of the bottom. I'm gonna set you free. I can strike 100 times a day. Nothing ever gets in my way. I'm black lightning. I'll be in your mind. I'll be in your soul. I'm all power in your
what it seems, any folk can tell you that. You're no thing, not a stone, no ring, nobody likes a rat. Rainbow eyes and a head full of lies, it's all come to this. I can sit in my chair and pull out my hair, but I'd rather pull on this. Live and let live, you know I give and I'll give, because I can't take back what I've already done. Don't think it, don't think it, think it, don't feel it, don't think it, don't ding. Stuck in a spiral, I spin and I spun. That's whack. It should have flowed, cause I know what I know through the grapes in a vine stack. Long red hair with the care in the air, now it'll all come to pass. I can lie in my bed and die till I'm dead, but I'd rather not do that. No how. Live and let live, you know I'll give and I'll give, cause I can't take back what I've already done. Now think it, don't think it, think it, don't think it, don't think it. Stuck in a spiral, I'll spin till I spun. Stuck in a spiral, I'll spin till I spun. Pick it up.
Mountain Live with GP3, completing a wonderful gift for your ears, my friends, as you go into your weekend and enjoy together the times of sequence where all great manifestation brings in the wonder, the light, and the music in the sound together, friends. And so we bid you adieu, and we remember that every week Rocky Mountain Live with GP3 gives a little more to the equation, a little punch factor for y'all ambitions of just being you, the best you that you could ever be. We also like to thank all that supports Khen Radio, our proud sponsors, and all the things that have really given a lot so these frequencies can get into your ears and into your life. Remember, this comes at a little bit of the good stuff. Yeah. All right. So, we'll be back again, and we'll treat you like we love ya because you're in it to win it for y'all inner self being. You're with GP3 with Rocky Mountain Live on Khen 106.9.